presidential promise to put the law before family.
I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Letting the world know that he will not wipe away the decision of 12 of his son's peers.
Was asked directly, and he has said he wouldn't pardon his son if he gets convicted.
Let's wait and see what happens if he loses.
Yeah, but he said it.
He's going to get pardoned by his dad. There's no question about that.
The president has ruled out pardoning his son.
Major commitment from the president, accepting the outcome of the trial and also pledging not to pardon his son.
So the challenge for him is really to continue to live up to his values when it was really personal, and he did that today.
It seems like a pretty normal, straightforward answer, but it takes new weight when we see what Trump is saying about the outcome of his trial, what we're hearing from other Republicans who say they don't accept the jury's verdict here in New York.
The contrast is profound. To sit there and say, well, I'm not going to intervene in the legal process, and I wouldn't pardon my son. One side, Democrats and Joe Biden protecting the justice system. And on the other, Republicans and Trump protecting Trump.
Our current president of the United States has so much respect for the law that he has said he would not pardon his son. I mean, again, it's all about the contrast.
President Biden saying, I will respect whatever this jury decides, versus Donald Trump after he was convicted on 34 counts, saying the entire system is rigged against him.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about more reactions to Joe Biden lying to the American people about pardoning his son, Hunter Biden. Okay, Joe Biden came out and said under no circumstances would he pardon Hunter because nobody is above the law. Turns out that Joe Biden was lying to the American people. He didn't really mean that. He intended to pardon Hunter the whole time, okay? And now you have Democrats out here trying to spin this in ways that are really, really, really embarrassing, especially considering how you have some Democrats that went on record to back up Joe Biden's claims that he would not pardon his son, Hunter Biden. And yeah, it's just not going well for them when they get confronted with their own words, to say the least. Take a look.
In July of 2023, just after that plea deal fell through, this is what you said. I want to watch.
Do you think a pardon for his son would be a mistake?
Yes, and I don't think there's any chance that President Biden is going to do that, unlike his predecessor, who pardoned all of his friends and anyone who had any access to him. And I think you see that in this case, where he kept on, and Merrick Garland kept on, a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney to investigate the president's son. If there is not an indication of the independence of the Department of Justice beyond that, I don't know what we could look for.
What does that feel like, watching yourself back then, reassuring people that Biden was not going to issue a pardon for his son?
Yeah, and I think that if that plea agreement and that plea deal had gone through, there would be no pardon. That was a satisfactory outcome.
It had already fallen through.
That only was... Sorry?
When you reacted, this was when the deal had fallen through.
Yeah, so you see, now you heard that, okay? Democrats are definitely not having a good time trying to defend Joe Biden on national television. They're coming up with all types of crazy excuses for why he lied, and we probably will talk about those excuses in another video. But on this video, I really want to focus on the fact that you have people that are just flat out turning on Joe Biden, right? Biden supporters saying, no, this is not okay, right? Like, no, you cannot do this and think that you have some type of moral high ground, which is what the Democrat Party has tried to market themselves as, the party of moral high ground, right? They tried to sell to the American people that they're better than Trump from a moral perspective, okay? And that's essentially what Kamala Harris's whole campaign was based off of. This idea that, well, Kamala Harris, she's just morally superior to Trump. Therefore, you shouldn't care about the economy. You shouldn't care about the border. You shouldn't care about crime. You shouldn't care about all the issues. No, Kamala Harris is just a better person than Trump. Therefore, you should vote for her. And I've told you guys before, and I'll tell you again, Democrats, they are not morally superior to Trump, right? They're not better people than Trump. They don't have better character than Trump. Democrats are some of the most corrupt individuals on the planet. They just go about it in a very sneaky way, right? They're very, very, very sneaky about their corruption. And then they want to point the fingers at other people because they are projecting, right? That's what the Democrat Party does, okay? Everything they accuse Trump of doing, that's actually what they're doing. Okay. So with that being said, again, you have some Biden supporters coming out here and calling BS. Like this guy, Charlie Sykes. He says, smart person texts me, quote, Joe Biden has just removed the issue of pardons from the political arena for the next 4 years, and Trump probably once again can't believe his own dumb effing luck at this point. Sadly, I think he's right. Nate Silver says, I discuss here how I voted for Harris despite feeling like Democrats indulge in a lot of bad behavior that the voters were rational to publish. After the White House lying about the Hunter Biden pardon, I'm not sure how much more I can tolerate. Chris Saliza says, a colossally selfish decision that will allow every Trump supporter to note that Democrats say one thing and do another. Well, I mean, we've been noting that for a long time, right? This is not a new thing, okay? We all been pointed out. This is just one of the most obvious examples because, again, Biden doesn't care. All he cares about is himself and making sure his son doesn't go to prison before he dies, right? That is what Joe Biden is worried about. I mean, this guy issued a blanket pardon for any crimes that he may have committed, even going back to 2014. I mean, this is basically when Hunter Biden started to work with Burisma, right? Joe Biden's essentially admitting guilt, saying, he may have committed some crimes, right? But hey, I'm going to issue him a pardon so that people like Kash Patel can't seek justice against him. Susan Glasser says, noting that Biden here writes of telling the truth to the American people while not explaining how he lied to them before he said he would not pardon his son. Well, Democrats don't feel the need to explain anything, right? They don't, because they think that they are so morally superior to Trump that you can't judge them when they're wrong, right? When they get caught not adhering to the values that they claim they believe in. So, yeah, you have people who are extremely Trump deranged. Individuals like, for example, Joe Walsh, he actually went on MSNBC and turned on Biden and went off on what Biden did. Take a look.
See, I told you so. They're all like that. So the next time any of us complain about anything Trump does, this pardon is just deflating. For those of us who have been out there for a few years now yelling about what a unique threat Donald Trump is, for Joe Biden to do something like this, Trump, nobody's above the law, we've been screaming. Well, Joe Biden just made clear his son Hunter is above the law. Donald Trump lies every time he opens his mouth, we've been screaming. Joe Biden repeatedly lied about this. The politicization of the justice system. Donald Trump and his people have been screaming. Well, that's exactly what Biden said here.
Joe, is this a politics of purity? I mean, we had Donald Trump pardon Sheriff Joe Arpaio during his term, and there wasn't a lot of hue and cry about that. I mean, this is a father who saw his first wife killed, his daughter killed in a car crash, his two young sons survive. One goes on to have real difficulties with addiction. Another dies because of cancer. This is a family that's really troubled. I mean, yes, he said he wasn't going to do this, but did anyone ever believe that that was the case? I mean, I would have put good money on this happening. Like, are many people going to be surprised that a father who is also the president would do this for his son?
I don't know that people will be surprised because you're right. Joe Biden repeatedly said he wouldn't do this. So he repeatedly lied. But this just furthers the cynicism that people have about politics. And that cynicism strengthens Trump because Trump can just say, I'm not a unique threat. Everybody does this. If I do something for my kid, my son-in-law, whatever, look, Joe Biden does the same thing. I get it, but this was a selfish move by Biden, which politically only strengthens Trump. It's just deflating.
Yeah, so I love how Joe Walsh just completely ignored the sad sop story that the MSNBC host tried to put out there in order to deflect criticism away from Joe Biden, right? He just completely ignored it, right? It was like, no, Joe Biden lied, right? You don't understand. Joe Biden lied, and because Joe Biden lied, we can't take the high road anymore, right? We can't claim the high ground, the moral high ground, and we can't boo-hoo, whine, and cry about Trump and when he does things that we feel is corrupt because our party is corrupt, right? Again, it's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious to see what's happening. What's also hilarious is to see some Democrats who are trying to mental gymnastics their way through defending what Joe Biden did get absolutely curb stomped on national television by Republicans like Scott Jennings, which is exactly what's going to happen to this propagandist, Miss Karen Finney, on CNN. Let's get into it.
There are Democrats saying they're not happy that President Biden made this decision.
Yeah, well, tough. The president went ahead and did what he thought was right for him and to protect his son.
Joe Biden is leaving office making the strongest possible case for Donald Trump that anybody could possibly make it, and that's that our government and our justice system is of, by, and for the elites and nobody else. He ran to banish Trumpism from our political system in this country, and he has left it politically and now institutionally the strongest possible political force in this country. It is a complete and utter failure by the head of the Democratic Party and the President of the United States. Never again do I want to hear, oh, Donald Trump's a liar. You can't believe anything he says. Donald Trump will abuse his power. Donald Trump will only use the system to benefit himself and his family and so on and so forth. Never again. I have one question for Karen, and that is, why did he need an 11-year blanket pardon going back to 2014 when Joe Biden was the vice president? We are sitting on the biggest cover-up of who knows what crimes, and Joe Biden amazingly knows exactly, roughly, when it started. He knows just about when it all started. He's leaving office in complete and total disgrace. He is a liar, and there is no other way to spin this today. This has nothing to do with Trump and everything to do with the character of Joe Biden.
That Republicans have
facts. Yo, Scott Jennings spitting that hot fire. He's not holding back. I love it. But he's right, though. Joe Biden, basically, by pardoning Hunter all the way back to 2014, just a blanket slate. Like, Hunter could have murdered somebody. He could have killed somebody during that time period. Joe Biden's like, I don't care, right? We're going to wipe it away, okay? I don't want my son in jail. But we all know why he did that. He did that because he knows that Hunter was breaking the law and that he was acting as a foreign agent when he did not register as a foreign agent while conducting those business dealings overseas in Ukraine and China. And Joe Biden was the big guy, and Joe Biden benefited from it, right? So him pardoning Hunter is almost like him trying to cover himself. He's not just covering his son, but he's covering himself, okay? The whole Biden crime family doesn't need to be investigated anymore, right? I'm sick of the investigations. They need to be held accountable. But again, Democrats don't believe in accountability for themselves. They don't. And that's what Joe Biden is trying to do here. He's trying to escape accountability. In fact, I would go as far as to say that this whole plot to charge Hunter Biden with these lesser crimes, okay, tax evasion and the gun charges, was just a plot to get Hunter Biden off for his business dealings in Ukraine, right? It was an excuse for Biden to issue a blanket pardon, okay? A blanket pardon that just happens to cover all the things that people actually really care about, the crimes that people actually really want to see the Biden family be held accountable for. This is corruption right in your face, right in your face.
Been for years now trying to attack the president himself, go after his family. And when you have someone who literally ran their campaign on retribution, on the idea of I will be your retribution and getting back at his enemies, I would imagine, obviously I haven't spoken to the president about this, but I would imagine the president took a look at this and said, I want to make sure this is ironclad, that there is nothing that can be done to circumvent what I'm going to do to protect my son and to try to take the target off of his back once and for all. So that's my reading of it. But again, I think that the hypocrisy here, it is astounding. I mean, Donald Trump has said and done things, said things that and done other things. And again, he's a convicted felon himself. He has used his power to benefit his friends, his wealthy allies. In this instance, we're talking about a man who decided to take care of his son after years of unrelenting attacks.
You know what I find to be hilarious about this whole "but Trump" thing? And again, Democrats just don't get this. They don't understand this. You're marketing your party as better than Trump, right? Your whole pitch for Kamala Harris is that she's morally superior to Trump. Her character is better than Trump. Don't pay attention to the actual results because we can't really win on the results. Pay attention to the intangibles. When you come out here and you basically try to say, well, it's okay that Joe Biden did this because look at Trump. What you're saying is that you're not better than Trump. So if you're not better than Trump, then what is the selling point? Right? You guys remember it got to the point in Kamala's campaign where they basically were saying, well, she doesn't have to be better than Hitler. Why is it that Kamala Harris has to be better than Hitler? Right? Why does she have to be held to a higher standard than Trump? That's the argument they were making. And they're essentially making this same argument right now. But yet your whole pitch is that you're better than Trump. If your pitch is that you're better than Trump when it comes to these things, you can't come out and then say, well, why are we being held to a higher standard than Trump? Well, your only selling point that you're putting out there to the American people is that you're supposed to be better than Trump on these things. It doesn't make sense. It makes zero sense whatsoever. But the reality is that, again, they're not morally superior to Trump. They don't have better character than Trump. These people are the most corrupt individuals on the planet.
I don't blame him.
You guys can spend all day long trying to spin this, that this is Donald Trump's fault, that this is somehow caused by Donald Trump. Oh, he's appointing the wrong people. Oh, he did it. Oh, this is the worst possible thing a president could possibly do to his party and to the country, to sit for a year and say, I will not do this. I will not do this. The rule of law is sacred. We have to respect the justice system. Juries, we have to respect juries. We have to respect the guardrails and the norms of our democracy. These people are liars. Inflation, it's transitory. Afghanistan, it's a success. The border is secure. Robert Hur is a liar. The videos are cheap fakes. Biden has a cold. He'll never drop out. Oh, I'll never pardon Hunter. It's all a lie. It is all a grift. Every American, except the most partisan, brain-rotted people, are going to be outraged by this today. He is going to leave off. You think 38, 39% job approval is bad? Just you wait. Just you wait. He's disgraced today. Outrageous. Are you fine with the lying? Are you fine with him sitting before the election all year and lying to the American people? Are you fine with the lying about it?
I don't think that he was lying. I think he made a decision after the fact and decided this was the right thing for him and for his family. Period. Full stop.
John,
Donald Trump decided that it was okay to pardon
Joe Biden, Karine Jean-Pierre. How many minutes of tape do we have of both of these people telling the American people this will not happen? It's I mean, we could play it all morning. It's a lie, and it's a lie to benefit his own family, and that's all that it is. And everybody who went on TV and said, oh, look how he's the modern George Washington. He's drained every ounce of credibility from every surrogate. If Karine Jean-Pierre had an ounce of self-respect, she'd get off the plane in Africa today, where they're going, so he can avoid the press and resign. He's drained all of her credibility, and everybody else who's defended this, it's draining.
Yeah, I mean, the whole media, right? They've lost their credibility, okay? And then they boo-hoo whine and cry, why nobody believe us? Why nobody care about what we say? Why is Joe Rogan so popular? Elon Musk? Influencers, right? This is why they do that, okay? They've lost credibility defending Democrats no matter what, instead of actually holding Democrats to the standard that Democrats want to hold everybody else to. But again, when it comes to Democrats, rules for thee, not for me. We can do whatever we want because we're Democrats, okay? And if you judge us, if you actually criticize us for not living up to the values that we claim we believe in, you're the problem, okay? You are the issue, not us. Yeah, Democrats are not having a good time on national television, and you're seeing some of them already come out and turn on Joe Biden due to just the very bad position that he put his party in. And any Democrat, again, defending this, it really shows you just how much of an actual shield they are. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective.